This week's action in precious metals has been dominated by extraordinary strength in silver and obviously continuing surges in gold, with price behaviors telling a story of deep structural demand and investors' caution. Retail investment interest has ignited an unprecedented rally in silver, pushing prices above 90 per ounce and driving a sharp drop in the gold to silver ratio to levels not seen since 2012, a sign that silver's performance is outpacing even gold amid tight supply conditions and heightened demand for safe haven industrial metal exposures. This is all according to the Financial Times and the Economic Times. Meanwhile, gold remains elevated as global uncertainty and macroeconomic pressure keeps investors seeking traditional hedges, and broader metal prices have stayed near historic highs, with ongoing geopolitical, as we see here, and monetary concerns underpinning the rally. Analysts also note that the persistent anxiety over current stability and global policy has continued to drive strong inflows of both metals. To basically tie all that together, precious metals are not just holding their ground, as you know, they're leading market sentiment, with silver's breakout and the gold to silver relationship reshaping how traders and investors are positioning themselves as 2026 unfolds. So, we are back now at another Wall Street Journal market report. Obviously, sponsored by APMEX, the American Precious Metals Exchange. Is where I go to buy amazing silver from around the world. It's where you should consider buying too, because they have the best selection if you are a collector, and they have really, really good deals every now and again as well. So go to APMEX, check it out, and if you want, I have a link right here. It looks like this. It's also this QR code, but basically, if you want to support this channel and shop to buy gold and silver, copper, palladium, any of the things, they will pay me based on what you buy, and that will obviously keep us going, keep the bills paid here at the Culture of Currency. So I would appreciate your support if, and only if, you're already going to make those contributions to your own stack. Let's go ahead and get to our market report. Not a crazy week. As you know, this is kind of a deal here. This is Xi Jinping and obviously the Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Carney, and they are trying to come up with some type of an economic negotiation here. Canada claiming out loud that America is not as, I guess, amicable as it used to be, and China obviously doing what China does and trying to position themselves against the largest consumer market in the world, being the United States. So we'll see how that plays out, but I don't see a lot of Canadian imports being brought to China, though obviously China is the manufacturer of the world and holds its own when it comes to distribution. Here is our Dow Jones. This is where we start. As you can see, 49,359 is where we ended this week. That's 83 points below where it was on Friday's trading. We're still pretty close to an all-time high, just 5 days away, because today is the 17th, and we see that this was on the 12th, which is all relative right here, as you can see. We go to the S&P 6940 is where it landed, just down 5 points. Once again, all-time high was on the 12th, and we're still pretty close to that mark right there. And we have the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's getting awful close, folks. 23,515 is where we sit on the NASDAQ, 14 points down. And right at Halloween is still where we hit our all-time high. But as you notice, we are getting awful close. So I don't know exactly what's going to cause it, but I imagine here in about a month's time or less, we ought to have a new all-time high in the NASDAQ. But you know how speculation goes. Internationally, pretty quiet overall. In the Americas, not much going on here. We had Brazil, who went down 0.57. We have Chile that was up 0.62, and Mexico that was up 0.55%. So pretty quiet overall, nothing dramatic. We go to Europe, we can see that Denmark here, if I can zoom in here, Denmark finally making up the ground it lost last year, or getting close to it. I think they were negative in the 20s. So we're at positive 2.68 there in Denmark. France, negative 0.65. Norway, up at 1.39%. We've got Turkey here, 1.7%. We know them to be quite volatile, as we knew tracking last year. We go to the Asia-Pacific area. South Korea, 0.90. They were very strong last year. Taiwan, almost 2% on their week. Thailand, up 1.13. So overall, we had some pretty much positive movement in the week, but there's a couple of places in the world that didn't have the best week. But how did your silver and gold do? Well, folks, it looks like silver closed the week at $90.86, and we know that it opened the week at $82.15, which is a growth of $8.71. So still fairly volatile overall in this new year, but it's still looking at a 10% gain just for the week, and I know it's not much. But year to date, seeing as January 1st, silver was $72.28. We are still at 25% gained just from January 1st to today, the 17th, which is still quite remarkable when I say it out loud. So very good stuff happening in the silver world. In gold, we are sitting at $4,612. We have gained another 1.29% here. That's $58 on the week. And from year to date, it hasn't moved anywhere near as much as silver, as on January 1st, it started at $4,334. And here we are about $277 higher, being a 6.41% growth year to date. So both have really done well from the past 17 days, but silver is still winning, folks. I don't know where the new ceiling is. I don't know where the new floor is, but we're going to find out together. So come back next week, and remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.